And this morning at 7:46 a.m., our president, who is staunchly pro-concussion, he loves his CTEs, weighed in on the games on Sunday. You know, he sat up in bed and posted, the NFL has to get rid of that ridiculous-looking new kickoff rule. How can they make such a big and sweeping change so easily and quickly? It's at least as dangerous as the normal kickoff and looks like hell. Sissy football is bad for America and bad for the NFL. Says the guy who wakes up in the morning and sprays his head with Aquanet. He has another little button to lock the door when he hears Elon coming. Elon Musk reportedly badgered Trump into giving him an office in the West Wing. It's kind of a tough situation for Trump because on the one hand, you know he can't stand this guy. On the other hand, he needs his money. It's what they call a Melania.
Trump and Melania step into the spotlight again, not as symbols of leadership or elegance, but as the—
Trump and Melania are back in the spotlight, but not for their power or style, more like a never-ending joke. Jimmy Kimmel goes after them hard, pointing out how Trump acts less like a president and more like the host of a failing reality show. His campaign events feel like desperate pilot episodes, focused only on boosting ratings. He seems more obsessed with poll numbers than actually caring about the people he's supposed to lead.
I've spent the day enjoying what is best described as a full-on MAGA freakout today in the aftermath of this Jeffrey Epstein birthday book. Our leader, Mussolini, did not want us to see. And yesterday, House Democrats released a disturbing letter Trump claims he didn't write in a book that was given to Epstein for his 50th birthday, a book that it's turned into a gift that keeps on giving. And not only does it contain the now infamous creepy letter and drawing with Trump's signature on it, it holds a number of disturbing photos and notes, including this picture of Epstein holding a check someone made out to look like it was from Trump for $22,500 to purchase a, quote, fully depreciated woman. We know the check probably isn't real because Trump only pays women when they sue him. As is tradition, except for 4 years ago when Trump refused to do it, the outgoing first couple welcomed the incoming president and first lady, which was interesting to watch. Trump actually got involved in Melania's outfit for this ceremony. A lot of people are talking about it. He told her he thought it would be super hot if she dressed like a goth elf.
If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Kimmel takes aim at Trump's constant bragging about his wealth while facing lawsuits that cast doubt on how real that wealth actually is. With massive legal bills piling up, campaign money being used to cover personal expenses, and endless shady business deals coming to light, Trump looks more desperate than powerful. His so-called empire isn't a dynasty, it's a clearance sale pretending to be one. Like his famous hair, his financial image is built on illusion, and even that illusion is starting to fall apart.
But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage.
Melania doesn't escape criticism either. Kimmel points out how she's rarely seen in public, and when she does appear, she looks more like a reluctant hostage than a supportive first lady. Her polished appearances can't hide her clear lack of interest. Every wave to the crowd feels more like an effort to get through it than a gesture of support. With lawsuits connected to her name and her focus on suing critics, it seems her priority is protecting her image, not making a real impact. Her public life feels powered more by lawyers than by ideals.
Melania's memoir came out today. It's called Melania. It's named after her. Proceeds from sales of the book are going to one of Melania's favorite charities, Body Doubles for Conjugal Visits. Very good group. Right now, the book is ranked number 17 on Amazon, and despite the fact that it just came out, even has reviews. Here's one of the reviews. J Love gives it 5 stars, says, "Wonderful. This was the best book I've ever read." Which is a nice way of saying I've never read enough.
Kimmel mocks Trump's endless rallies, where he repeats the same tired slogans as if the crowd won't notice. The only thing that changes is how loudly he shouts, not what he says. Even the chants feel like old, worn-out memes brought back to life. Kimmel highlights the absurdity of a man so desperate for validation that he keeps retelling the same self-glorifying stories like they're breaking news. For Trump, the truth can bend, but applause is a must.
No one's saying Trump is an artist. This isn't exactly a Norman Rockwell. No one is hanging this in a museum. Their other proof he didn't do it is the signature. They say it doesn't look like his signature. It sure does to me. Especially when you compare it to other Trump signatures from that era. They're almost exactly the same. They all end with a long D, which I can only assume is Trump overcompensating for a small D.
Kimmel calls out the irony of Trump claiming to fight for the people while living like royalty, completely out of touch with reality. His endless legal battles, court appearances, and constant complaints about being treated unfairly make him look less like a strong leader and more like a celebrity whining about online critics. His over-the-top victim act has turned his presidency into a soap opera, leaving his supporters more entertained than truly inspired.
There's something wrong with him. There really is. I mean, who thinks like that? And why are we building a $200 million ballroom in the White House? Is it possible that he's doing it intentionally so we can be mad about that instead of the Epstein list? By the time he's out of office, the White House will have slot machines and a water slide.
Kimmel then turns to Melania, breaking down her carefully built image of mystery. He points out that her silence is an elegant sit strategy. When scandals erupt, her absence speaks louder than words, letting the media fill in the blanks. It's not wisdom, it's marketing by staying quiet, a way to dodge responsibility while still staying relevant. Her influence is based on appearances, not actions, a perfectly staged stillness posing as depth. Kimmel also slams Trump's attitude toward climate change. He mocks how Trump dismisses environmental science while owning properties that are literally threatened by rising seas. The irony is striking, a man denying reality as that very reality washes away his beloved golf courses. Kimmel argues this isn't just ignorance, but deliberate negligence, showing Trump only cares about today's applause, not tomorrow's consequences. It's not just dangerous, it's recklessly absurd.
Speaking of pigskin, Donald Trump, in his ongoing effort to distract us from the fact that he doesn't want Melania to see the Epstein files, went after Rosie O'Donnell again. He's been threatening to revoke Rosie O'Donnell's American citizenship, which, like peeing standing up, he cannot do. And before I share this, I'd like to remind you, this is a post from the President of the United States. He wrote, as previously mentioned, we are giving serious thought to taking away Rosie's citizenship. She is not a great American and is, in my opinion, incapable.
Kimmel tears into Trump's foreign trips, showing how his idea of diplomacy is just posing for photos with dictators. His admiration for strongmen, while pushing away longtime allies, makes him look less like a leader and more like a man craving approval from bullies. Kimmel jokes that Trump treats treaties like disposable napkins and ditches alliances the moment they stop flattering him. It's foreign policy guided by his ego, not a global plan. Kimmel also pokes fun at Trump's rants about late-night hosts, saying Trump doesn't hate comedians because they mean he hates them because they're right. The White House feels more like a backstage dressing room, with Trump focused on crafting comebacks to jokes instead of actual policies. Melania doesn't escape this segment either. Kimmel points out that she only shows up at events when it benefits the story being told. She isn't acting like a true public figure, but more like a supporting character, adding a touch of elegance before disappearing again. What once seemed like quiet dignity now comes off as cold indifference. Every appearance feels like part of a deal, not genuine care for her role.
Oh, and here's the other thing. This book is 22 years old. Who would have been faking Donald Trump's signature in a private birthday book in January of 2003? The Apprentice wasn't even on the air yet. This would require an extraordinary amount of planning. Caroline Leavitt, his press secretary, the woman who keeps insisting Trump didn't draw this or sign this in 2003, she was 5 years old. She was too young even for Jeffrey Epstein in 2003. So she knows.
Kimmel goes after Trump's habit of rewriting history, mocking his wild claims about past achievements from fake crowd sizes to imaginary policy wins. This isn't just spin, it's historical fiction on repeat. His desperation to protect his legacy with lies shows he knows his real record can't survive honest scrutiny. Kimmel reminds viewers that no matter what Trump tweets, history will remember the truth, not his version of it. Melania's infamous "I really don't care" jacket also makes a return, with Kimmel calling it the perfect symbol of her public role. It wasn't just a fashion choice, it was the most honest statement she ever made, and it still resonates today. Kimmel also blasts Trump's twisted relationship with the truth. His supporters are urged to ignore what they see and instead believe whatever he says, no matter how outrageous. Whether it's denying defeat, inflating numbers, or spinning wild conspiracies, Trump demands blind loyalty. Kimmel likens it to a circus act, with Trump as the ringmaster and facts reduced to clowns juggling nonsense to keep his narrative alive.
This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay? And it didn't just happen once.
When I heard it, I was in the midst of, building a great, for 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom at the White House, right? They don't have a ballroom. They have to use tents on the lawn for President Xi when he comes over. If it rains, it's a wipeout. And so I was with the architects that would design. It's going to be incredible. And they came in, they said, "Charlie Kirk is dead." I didn't know what they meant. I said, "He was dead. Charlie Kirk was shot." And they thought he was dead because it was so horrific, And I said, "Dead."
And then we installed the most beautiful...
Kimmel dives into Trump's family dynamic, noting how Melania's distance isn't just from the public, it's from Trump himself. Their interactions feel forced, from awkward hand-holding to scripted smiles. It doesn't look like love. It looks like a contract being fulfilled, and everyone can see it. Kimmel also mocks Trump's performative patriotism, like when he hugs the American flag as if that makes up for policies that go against the very values it represents. For Trump, the flag isn't about freedom or democracy, it's just a prop for photo ops. When it comes to Trump's endless lawsuits, Kimmel says they reveal not a fighter for justice, but a man terrified of accountability. The constant court appearances, gag orders, and attempts to stall trials show someone running from the truth, not facing it. In the end, Trump's legacy may not be a dramatic victory, but a string of legal defeats that tear down the myth of his untouchable power. It's not strength, it's desperation disguised as survival.
It was a lot of fun, Ed. What a birthday. It wasn't just... And they gave him a fireworks show on top of that. There's Sleepy Don taking it all in. And in fairness, that's as close as he gets to being able to sleep with his wife, so he took the opportunity. This is really good. This almost makes me feel bad for him, almost. So it's his birthday, and while there's no good reason for us to be paying to celebrate it, you'd think his wife might celebrate it, right? They're married, and well, watch this. Look at his hand. He makes a little move to lock pinkies, and nope.
Trump's recent fixation on revisiting past election grievances draws another round of laughs from Kimmel.
Kimmel cracks up over Trump's obsession with reliving past election battles, saying it's like he's stuck in a time loop, replaying the same complaints over and over. Real leaders focus on the future, but Trump clings to grievances, selling nostalgia for a version of America that never truly existed. His followers are left watching reruns of a show that lost its appeal long ago. Meanwhile, Melania's silence during these scandals makes her seem like a ghost of the White House, always present, yet completely detached. Kimmel roasts her for treating national crises like background noise, as if being First Lady doesn't actually require action. Trump's speeches, Kimmel says, are less about policy and more about payback. Instead of offering solutions, he uses the stage to air personal grudges, listing enemies like bad Yelp reviews. It turns presidential addresses into chaotic roast sessions, with Trump acting more like a vengeful performer than a leader. Great presidents write history. Trump just writes hit lists, reducing the highest office to nothing more than petty theater.
Here's the thing, whenever he's spitting out, he goes back to Rosie. That's his safe space. He zeroes out. Calling her fat is what makes him comfortable. Meanwhile, she's about half his weight now. In fact, this photo he posted, she posted the photo. This photo he posted looks really more like him than her.
Kimmel highlights the irony of Trump presenting himself as a man of faith while using religion as nothing more than a prop. Holding a Bible upside down for a photo op isn't spiritual, it's pure branding. The gap between the values in scripture and Trump's behavior is impossible to miss. Instead of compassion and humility, he embodies pride, anger, and greed. Kimmel calls it a hollow performance, proof that even sacred texts are just marketing tools in Trump's hands. Melania also comes under fire for her Be Best campaign, which was meant to fight bullying. Kimmel points out the absurdity of promoting kindness while being married to one of the most notorious online bullies in the world. The effort was doomed from the start, turning what was supposed to be advocacy into a public joke fueled by hypocrisy. Instead of raising awareness, it became a punchline. Trump's wild relationship with social media gets roasted next. Kimmel notes how every typo, rant, and insult became breaking news not because of wisdom, but because of the chaos he created. Instead of acting like a leader, Trump came across as an internet troll with access to nuclear weapons. Even after being banned, he kept finding ways back online, showing that his craving for attention was stronger than any platform's ability to silence him.
Congress is back to work in Washington right now, where whether they like it or not, and for a lot of Republicans who support Donald Trump, the answer is not. At the White House today, the president of Poland had the misfortune to visit in the middle of Hurricane Epstein. As you probably know, Republicans forced an early recess over the summer to avoid having to vote on whether to release the Epstein files, which many of them do not want to do because it would upset Orange Julius Caesar bigly. So they kicked the can in the hopes that, I don't know, we'd be hit by a tidal wave or something and it would wash away, but it didn't wash away.
Kimmel takes aim at Trump's constant claims of being the victim of conspiracies. Every investigation or indictment he spins as proof of a grand witch hunt. But as the number of cases piles up, that defense starts to crumble. At some point, it stops looking like injustice and starts looking like karma catching up. Kimmel finds the comedy in a man who insists he's innocent while drowning in court filings, like he's part of a never-ending late-night sketch. Melania's charity work comes under scrutiny too. While past first ladies threw themselves into meaningful causes, Melania's efforts felt like half-hearted appearances meant to check a box. Her initiatives faded without leaving any real impact, showing a deliberate distance rather than accidental neglect. Her time as First Lady wasn't a mission, it was a role put on pause. Trump's obsession with crowd sizes is another favorite target. No matter the event, he inflates attendance numbers, acting as if more people in the room equals more credibility. Kimmel mocks how he even used natural disasters as backdrops to brag about turnout. When a leader values headcounts over actual results, citizens stop being people and start being props in his endless chase for applause. Finally, Kimmel skewers Trump's failed attempts at statesmanship. International summits often felt like comedy sketches, with Trump mispronouncing countries, fumbling through policy questions, and showing up completely unprepared. These weren't random mistakes, they were part of a clear pattern. To Kimmel, Trump looked less like a world leader and more like a game show host who never bothered to read the rules.